Welcome to our series of Python programming where we are learning Python from basics to the advanced level. I am Shreya Keshri, helping you understanding all the concepts in these videos. This is the sixth video of our series where we are going to learn about the functions in Python. This is the part one of the topic. Since this topic is one of the most important topics, so I will be covering this topic in two videos. So in this video, we are going to understand the code structure. We will understand the definition and parameter handling, and we will understand the return statement in Python. So far, we have only understood the print statement. Now we will understand return statement as well. So far, we have covered decision making, if LF, else, control flow structures, all of these topics we have covered. Then we learned about the loops in the last video. We learned how we can use for and while loop. Then we learned about break, continue, and pass statement, how it helps in execution of a loop. So yeah, this is what we have covered so far. Now we will be taking on major steps towards modular programming using functions. So what we will understand in this lesson, we understand how functions work and what they are. We will understand how we define a function and how we call it. Then we will understand how we can give some values using the parameter declaration, how we can give the input inside that value, and how we can take the return values from that function. We are going to understand how to send outputs back to the caller using return statement. And then we will understand the function execution flow, that how the function works, what is its scope, and how its execution is sequenced. This is what we are going to understand. Okay. So the first thing that we need to understand is, why do we need a function? So whenever we write a code, if we do not use a function, then the code is scattered all around and it is hard to read. The repetitive code is getting written again and again. We have to write the code very many times. It is hard to read the code, and when there is a bug in it, we will need much time, and it will be very hard to debug that code because it is very long and it has repetitive code. So if we do not use the function, we have to write a simple program in so many lines. We need to write a repetitive code again and again. Yes. But if we use function, then we contain all of the code in some modular blocks. We divide the code in some parts, and it will make it very easy to read, first of all. Then the repetitive code can be removed from our program, as we can write a function and we can call it several times in the program itself. And if we want to debug it, we can simply go to the particular function where we are facing that problem, and we do not have to search the whole program for debugging it. Okay, so basically this function helps us in reusability, readability, easy debugging, and modular design. We will see them again. So all of these features that we are seeing here we will understand more of them when we will learn function more clearly. So I will get back here and I will make you understand more of them once we get a hang of what a function really is. Okay. So now the core concept starts from here. The thing that we have to learn first is, what is a function? So function is a named block of reusable code designed to perform a specific single task. So what does it say? It says that in a program, we are writing a code. Okay, this code deals with a particular task. It performs a specific singular task. Okay, and then we name this block of code something, and now we can call this block of code wherever in the program itself, and we can use it as many times as we want. So function is a named block of reusable code. It is a code that can be reused. It has a name and it is designed to perform a specific single task. For example, here we are taking an example of a pocket calculator. So a pocket calculator, in a pocket calculator, every single button on a calculator acts like a function. So we have this add function that performs addition. Then we have subtract function that performs subtraction, and multiply function that performs multiplication. So each of these function have a specific task. Add function perform add, subtract perform subtraction, then multiply function performs multiplication. So each one of this function have a particular task to do, and it has a name. Each of the block of code will have a name. In this case the name is add, in this case it is subtract, and in this case it's multiply. So yeah, there is a name block of reusable code that has to perform a specific single task. This is what a function is. Okay, now we have types of functions that we have to study in Python. So there are some built-in functions that Python provides us that we use throughout the program, such as we have been using this print function to give output. We have been using this input function to take input from user. We have also learned about this length function whenever we have to find the length of a string or a list. Then this type function we have learned to find the data type of a variable. So all these function are built in by the Python itself. It is provided by our program, and we can use it directly in our programs. Yes. So this is what built-in function is. Then we have user-defined function. These are the function that we as a programmer define ourselves. This is not provided by Python itself. We write this function so to solve our custom needs. For example, here we are making a function that is named greet. So this greet function is here, and what does greet function do? The use of this greet function is that it prints hello. So we make this function here, we are defining it, hence it is called the user defined function. So the type of function in Python are two. That is, first is a built-in function provided by Python itself, and second is the user defined function that we create as a user programmer. Now we have to learn about the syntax, that how function declaration can be done. So when we declare a function ourselves, we use the def keyword. Def keyword is used to declare a function. Then after def, we write the function name. We write whatever name we are going to give this to this function. So it should be a valid Python identifier. We have learned about the rules that is necessary to write the name of any variable that is an identifier. So this function name is given here. Then we use this parenthesis. Parenthesis is what denotes a function. So whenever there is a function, there is a parenthesis, and this parenthesis is used to hold parameters. If we want to give parameters in our function, if we want to use these parameters, then we write the parameters inside the parenthesis. But if we do not want, we leave the parenthesis empty. This parenthesis basically denotes that this is a function. Then we use a colon to end the header line, and inside it, after using our 4-space indentation, we start our code of block and we write the block. We write the code here that we want to execute whenever this function name is called. So this is how we declare the syntax of a function. We have a def keyword, we have the function name, then we use the parenthesis, and after colon, we use the indentation where we can now write the codes. Okay. So this is how you do the function declaration. Now we have writing our first function. This is the practical example. What we have to write here is we have to write a greet function here. Okay. So how do we do it? So first we use the def keyword and we write the name of the function, that is greet. We use the parenthesis since we do not need any any parameters in this keyword, so we are leaving the parenthesis empty. Then we use the colon, and afterwards we are using this indentation where we are printing this message, welcome to Python. Afterwards, this is how we define the function. After defining the function here, like this, we can just call the function in this way. We write the name, we write the parenthesis, and this is how you call the function. So what happens in the execution is Python reads the definition of greet. So here it reads that you are defining a function that is named greet, and its purpose is to print this statement, welcome to Python. Then it says that this line 6 calls greet function here. So so when the execution sees that you have to run this greet function, then it will jump back to this assignment. It will run back to where the greet function was defined, and then it will execute this print. So what does it means? It means that we are first defining the function, then we are calling the function, and when we call the function, the execution turns back itself and it goes to where the function was defined, and then it runs the code or the code in the console. So we are getting this output, welcome to Python. So this is how we write the function. Let us try to write it ourselves. Okay. So we have to write the greet function. So we will first use this def keyword here. Then we write the name of the function we want. We leave the parenthesis empty because we do not want any parameter here. We use the colon, and now we use this indented block of code to write the code that we need to execute in the function. Okay. So this is how you initialize your function. We use the def keyword. We give a name to the function. We use parentheses, and we write the block of code that we need to uh, run with the function. And afterwards, we can call this function like this. So now if I run this, I will say that hello user is getting printed in the console. So this is how you do the declaration, and this is how you can call a function. So now we have to understand the control flow of function, how a function executes. So first we start a program. So the main script starts executing sequentially. Whenever we get to a function call, the control jumps directly to the function block. Then the function is executed. The statement inside the function is executed. And lastly, we return the control back to the next line in the main program. This is how the function executes itself. The thing that we need to understand here is that defining a function does not execute it. It runs only when called. We need a function call for the function to execute. When we when we run the program itself, the control when get to the function call, it will jump back to the function block. It executes the function, and then it returns back to the next line in the main program. This is how the function will execute. Now, we have to understand the reusability. So, how does it help in reusability? Um, Here, in this example, we are defining a hello function, which whose purpose is to print hello. Yes. Now we can call it as many times as we want. We do not have to write print hello, print hello, print hello each and every time. No, we are just writing hello function, and as we write this hello function, this print hello is getting executed. So what do we do now? We are using the same function. We are using this same code of this same block of code again and again using the function name. So this is how function helps in reusing the code. We wrote the logic print hello only once, but we invoked it 3 times. If we do not use functions, we had to write print hello, print hello, print hello multiple times. But now we are just using the name of the function to call it, and the code of block is getting executed itself. So this is how it helps in reusability. We can call the function as many times as we want and we do not have to write the code again. Yes. Then we have function with one parameter. Okay. Now we are giving some input inside the functions. So how do we give input inside it? So we write the input here inside the parenthesis. Okay. So this is the general word that we use inside it. When we call the function, we will write the real value, and this parameter will be removed, and the word here is going to be used in place of this. So here name act as a variable inside a function. So when the function receives the real value from the function call, it will replace this variable name here and will execute this code of block according to it. So what happens here? We write the name here. We write the function as def greet name. We write print hello name. So this name is a variable here. Now when we pass the value Rahul and Priya to here, the name variable gets a value Rahul. So when we print hello name, this name will be replaced by the value from here Rahul and Priya. So we will get this in the console hello Rahul and hello Priya. This is how we pass a parameter inside a function, and we get our output on the function call. This is how you take one parameter as an input. Okay. Now we have this. What if we want to take multiple parameters? In the last example, we took one parameter that was named. In this, we are taking multiple parameters. So it is very easy to do it. We can just write the variables here using comma, and it will simply get mapped when we are getting the function call. So this 5 will be assigned to A. This 3 will be assigned to B according to the position. So here we do the positional association. The values are mapped in sequence. So 5 goes to A, 3 goes to B. And hence we get this value of A and B, and then we execute this code and we print that sum is A plus B, that is 5 plus 3, that is 8. Similarly, in this example, A will be 10, B will be 20, and hence we print that sum is equal to 30. So this is how you use multiple parameters in a function. Okay. Now you have to understand what is the difference between parameter and argument. Okay. So parameter are those variables which are used in the definition header. So in the function, when we are writing the definition header, we write the parameter inside the parenthesis and it works as a placeholder or the variable name. For example, in this line, we have def add a comma b. This a and this b are parameters here. These are the placeholder or the variable name where we are going to get the value from the function call. And as for the argument are the one which is used in a function call statement. These are the actual value passed into the function. So, in the previous example, what it means that here the A and B that we are writing inside the parenthesis while doing the defining of function, these are parameters. But once we write the real value while the function call, these are called argument. So this is the difference between parameters and argument. Parameter is defined in the function definition header. Argument is in the function call statement. And the parameter is used as a placeholder or variable name, while the argument is used as an actual variable that is passed into the function. So this is the difference between parameter and argument. Yep. Now we have to understand how we do the output. So earlier we have learned that while we are whenever we want to write an output, so we use print statement, right? But there are two types of output that we want to return in a program. The first type of value is that what we want to print on the on the console. If we want to show something on the console, then we use the print function there. But if we do not want to print it directly, we just want to store that value somewhere. We just want it to return some value, but do not print it on the console itself unless I tell you to do so. Then we use that return function here. So the return statement passes the calculated result back to the caller program. It halts the function execution immediately. So whenever we use this return statement in our function, then that means that we are halting the function execution there. Anything written after that won't be executed. So return function will stop that function execution right there, and then it returns the calculated result back to the caller program. It returns the value back to where the function call was done, not on the console. This is the difference between return and print. Print gives the output on the console itself. It lets us see it. But the return just gives the value back to the caller in the program itself. It doesn't print it on the console. So this is the difference. And the other difference is that whenever we write a print function, we do not halt the function execution immediately. We do not stop it. We can write the codes after print and it will run smoothly as well. But if we write return, then the function or the program will end there itself and it won't be running afterwards. It won't be executing any further. So this is the difference between return and print. Okay. So, yeah, now we are storing the function. Okay. Now we have to understand how we do the storage using the return value. So, what we are doing here, we are making a square function where we get a parameter n and this returns the value of its square. Yes, that is what it does. So what happens here, we are not printing the result on the console itself. We are just returning the value. So here, when we write result is equal to square 5, that value returned by square is getting stored inside the result. The return output is getting stored in the variable itself, and then when we print the result, then our console get the result here. So we are basically not returning the result directly into the console, we are storing the result. So return value is when you want to store a result, whenever you want to just return the result back to the caller function, and then we can choose whether we want to store the function or we want to print the function. Return only gives the output back to the caller log. This is what we need to understand here. In this example, we are storing that value returned by the return statement in a variable named result, and then we are using this result to print the value here. So the statement effectively becomes result is equal to 25. This is how you use the returning value. Okay. So now here we have to understand the difference between print and return. The first one is that print is used to display text on the console output, while return sends the data back to the caller program. It is not necessary that returned result will be printed or not. If we want to print anything on the console, we have to use the print function. The return function is used only when we have to send the data back to the caller program. It may be stored, it can be stored in the variables, but the print value can't be stored or used in math. And the third one is the function scope of print is the running next line. The print function will work in a line only, but the return function exits the function immediately. So the return function has its scope of the function and not only a line. Next is the value. So print returns none implicitly and return specify the data object. If you just consider the value returned by print statement, it is none. Unless there is something inside it, print function prints the value on the console, but it returns none. There is nothing that it returns as, it returns none. But in case of the return statement, it returns a specified data object. This is the difference between print and return. We have to understand. The basic difference is this, that print displays text on the console output, but return sends the data back to the caller program. This is the most important difference that we have to understand here. Return can store the value, print can't store the value. Print only functions in the few lines, but return functions to the whole function. And print returns none, while return returns data object. Okay. So it is not necessary that we can only return one value. We can return multiple value in an function. For example, here we are defining a function calc a comma b, and we are returning a plus b comma a minus b. So we are returning two values here. The first one is the sum, and the other one is the difference of the two numbers. And then we are storing these two values in this two variables, address and subnets. So what is happening here? This return values are going to be return is in tuple. What is that? We have comma separated values, and it will come in a tuple. So while we get to store this value in some variable, we do the tuple unpacking. It is unpacked by the comma that is present here, and using the comma we divide the value and store it in its respective variable, and then we can finally print it. So we can unpack them directly into separate variable by tuple unpacking. This is how we can return multiple values in a function. Oh. The next topic is understanding local variable. What are local variable? So local variable are those variable which are created inside a function, and it exists only inside a function within that function block. Attempting to access acts outside demo triggers a name error. So what is happening here? We are making a function here. We are defining a function named demo. Inside that function, we are making a variable named x, and we are assigning the value 10 to it, and then we are printing x. So what happens here? Inside the function, we are defining a variable, and then we are printing x. Yes. So when we will call the function will execute. X will be assign the value to 10, and then we print x, and when this function is executed completely, it will return back to the program here, to the main program here, and then this x will not exist in the program. Why? Because this x is, when defined inside a function, exists only inside a function. This is what local variable is. So local variable are those variable which are defined inside a function, just local to that function only. We can access to that variable only inside a function. If we want to access that variable outside the function, then it will throw a name error that x is not present outside the function. Its existence is only inside the demo. This is what local variable is, and this rule is the local scope rule. Scope means till where a particular what did I do? Yeah. So a local variable is the variable that is defined inside a function call. Yeah. So what we have learned here is the local scope basically defines when we can where we can access to a particular variable. If it can be accessed only inside a function but not outside a function, then it is called a local scope variable. If we try to access a local scope variable outside a function, then it will trigger name error because there is no variable with such name outside that function. This is what we have to understand here. And for those functions which are outside the function, wait, for those variables which are outside the function that can be accessed anywhere throughout the program, those have a global scope. They can be used anywhere inside the whole program. So those are called global variables. So there are two type of variable that we have here. The first one is the global variable that can be accessed anywhere throughout the program. And then we have the local variable that can be accessed only inside a function. So this is it. This is the variable scope. Then we have function chaining. So what do we do here? We use one function inside of another function. We call functions inside function. For example, we have here we are defining a function named hello. Def hello print hello. Okay. So this is the first function. Now we are defining another function that is named welcome, and we are using our hello function inside the function of welcome. So what happens if I run this welcome here? So whenever I run this welcome function, it will get to the execution of this part, and it will see that we are also calling hello function here. So it will now go back to this function. So it will first print hello from here, then it will return back and it will print a welcome to Python Pro. And then it will return back to this execution line. So in higher level function, we can call helper function inside it to build complex program cleanly. And so we use one function inside another function. It can also improve reusability. We do not have to write this code again and again. We are just writing this hello function here. So we are executing this code also. So this is how we do. So this is how we do the function chaining. So now we have to understand the call stack and how this function works. So what happens here? First, we start from the main program context. We see that the welcome function is called here. So the main program gets to the welcome function. Then it says that there you have to execute the hello function. So we leave this welcome and we got to the top of the stack of the hello function. Then we execute it. After executing it, we return back to the welcome. After executing the welcome, we return back to the program. This is how the call stack works. This is how function calling works. Whenever there are function inside function, we suspend the outer function and we first finish the inner function. And then we go back to the outer function and then we will return back to where the function was called. This is the call stack that you have to understand. You need to visualize it, how the things are going on here. Okay. Now what do we have here? Here we are, um, yeah. So we need to understand what the problems or what mistakes we can do while writing function. The first thing is to miss the parenthesis. We have to use the parenthesis here because if we do not, then the hello आ रहे हैं So first mistake is that we can miss the parenthesis and then it will return in an error. Then the second thing is that call before that. We need to first define the function, then only we can call it. If we write this call before defining the function, then it will be an error as well. We have to take care of the indentation. We have to make sure that there is an indentation after this colon. Then only we can make the function body. Okay, and the last thing is that we have to match the argument. Passing wrong number of arguments will cause into an error also. For example, here in the def argument, in the add function, we have two parameters A and B, but while we are calling it, we are only passing one argument, that is 5. That means A and B are not getting the separate value they need. We are only having this one value. So it will also result in an error that will say that we are missing one required positional argument, that is B. So these are some of the problems that we can face in the function call if we are not very careful about the syntax. Okay. Now here is a practical example. This is a program where we have to find the area of a rectangle. So what do we have to do here? We are making a function here. We are defining a function that is named with area, and it takes two argument here. We have two parameter, that is length and breadth, and it returns the product of length and breadth. Now we are calling the function area with two arguments 10 and 5, and we are storing the value in this res keyword, and now we are printing rectangle area as res. So when we run this program, then on the console we will get this rectangle area is 50. Why? Because 10 is getting multiplied to 5, and hence we will get this. So this is how you can use a function. Now you can use this function with as many values as you want. You can use 10, 5, 3, 8, whatever values you can give it to it, and you can use it as many times as you want. So this is the example of our function here. Okay, so the next program says we have to find the largest of two number. So what we are doing here, we are making a function here. We are declaring a function, and we have two arguments inside it. We need two arguments inside it for our parameter a and b. And we are returning a if a is greater than b, or else we are returning b. And now when we have to return the whenever we have to call this largest function, then we call it here largest. We put two arguments inside it for the parameters. Acha. Here we know that we only are returning this values. We are not printing it on the console. So if we want to print that returned value on the console, we have to enclose the function call inside this print statement. Now, when this function returns a value, that value is received by the print function, and then it is printed on the console itself. So after this, we are getting 25 on the console. So this is how you do it. Largest of two number. This is it. Okay. Now we have to make a simple calculator. This is one of our programs that we need to do. So yeah. Yeah, so now we have to design a simple calculator based on this four function, that is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And we have to return the sum of number, return difference, product, and the quotient for it. Okay, so let's start doing it. So this is the code for a simple calculator. Yes, it is a code for a simple calculator. We have to first define function named add. We will pass two parameters inside this a and b, and we will return a plus b. Right. Similarly, we have to define subtract function with a and b as the parameter, and we have to return a minus b. Right. Then we have this multiply function with a and b as the parameters, and we will return a into b. And lastly, we have the divide function that will return the quotient of a and b. So, okay. So these are the four functions that we need here. Now, if I call them one by one, what will I get now? Yeah, add 3 comma 2. But since this only returns the value, it doesn't print the value, I will enclose it inside a print function so that I can see the value in the console. So now once I run it, yeah, so this is the value we are getting. First one was add 3 and 2. So once adding 3 and 2, we will get 5. Then we have to subtract 7 and 5. So after subtracting, we are getting 2. Then we have multiplied 2 and 18. So the answer we are getting is 36. And finally, we have to divide 18 and 2. So the quotient is 9.0. And since we know that this division returns the floating value. So this value that is returned here is an float value. If we do not want the float value but only the integer part, then I can use this float division, and now we are getting 9. So this is how we can make a simple calculator. We will assemble it in a full interactive CLI calculator project in our upcoming videos, when we will get to know all the features of Python. Then we can make a better calculator. So this one is only a simple calculator where we are defining some functions and then we are passing the arguments inside that function to get the answer we want. Okay. Next, we have some advantages of using function. So the first one is the code reusability. It says that we can write the function just once and we can run it infinitely many times across our application. So that means we can use the same code block as many times as we want in our program instead of writing the code again and again. Then we have this easy maintenance. What we have here is that update logic in one place without altering the callers. That if we want to change some part of a function, then we can simply go to the function block and change the code. And since we have only written the function call instead of writing the function again and again, so changing the code at one place changes all its execution without altering the callers. Then we have this better organization. What it means is that the complex problems are broken into simple modules. That makes better organization. For example, here in this example of a simple calculator, the functioning of calculator is broken into 4 modules, that is add, subtract, multiply and divide. So we are dividing the whole program in 4 modules, which helps in better organization. Then we have faster development. So team can work on separate functions simultaneously and then they will merge each of their function together to form a program. So it helps in faster development. Next is the easier testing. Similarly, since the program is divided into blocks, if we want to test the functioning of the function, we can run our testing individually to each block and can independently check its quality. Okay, now we have 4 practice questions from this topic of function. So yeah, let's practice them as well. Create a function to print your name. Okay. Let us see. We have to create a function that prints a name. So we can use this def keyword here and we will make a function that is print name. And we will get a parameter here, namely name. And what will it do? It will print my name is name. Okay. Yeah. So now we have defined the function here. So we can now call it. So I will call the function using its name. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? Yeah. Okay. And then I will pass my name inside it as an argument. So now when I will run this code, it will say my name is Shriya. So this is how you can print your full name. If I want my full name, then I will write my full name here. Wait a minute. Yeah. Now when I run it, it will say my name is Shriya Keshri. Okay. Now the next question we have is create a function to find and return the square of any number. So what will we do here? We have to define a function. For defining, we use the def keyword. We give a name to the function. Let us say this is the name. And we will need an argument for it. So I write a parameter here that is name. Num. Yeah. And what will it do? It will return the square of the number. Okay. Yes, this is the function. So I have defined the function. Now I need a number. So I am going to take an input from our user. So I will write enter your number. Yep. And afterwards, so when I get the number, I can store the value that I am going to get from my function inside a variable named result. Okay, and yeah. And lastly, I will print my result here. So now when I run it, it is first going to ask for my input. I will say 5. So now it returns the square, that is 25. Similarly, if I give it some kind of bigger number, let us say 12, then it will give 144. If I say 27, then it will give 729. So yes, this is working properly. This is how we can print the square of any number. The third question is write a function that accepts two numbers and print their sum. Okay. So for this question, we will again define a function here. So let us say the function name is sum nums. Okay. And we have to get two parameters here, that is m and n. These are the two numbers. And what do we have to return is the sum of these two numbers. Yes. Okay. Now, once I have defined the numbers, I can take input from my user. Okay. And then the second number, it is enter input, enter your second number. Yeah. So, yeah. And now I am going to call my function with my with my argument num1 and num2. And I am going to store the value given by this function into a variable named result. And lastly, I am going to print it. Okay. So now once I run it, it will first ask for the first number. Yeah, so what we did 33 here, and we are going to put 64 here. And when I press it, yeah, it is now giving me the sum of the two numbers. So this is how we are going to get two numbers and we can print the sum of both of these numbers. The last question says that we have to write a function to calculate the area of circle given its radius. So again, we will define a function def area of circle. Yes, I'm going to get a parameter that is radius, and then I will return the area that is represented by 3.14 into r. Right, this is the formula for area of circle, that is pi r square. Now I'm going to take the input from my user, enter radius, and then I will call my function, store its value in my variable called result. And lastly, I will print the result on the console. So let us say radius is here. My radius is 7. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, yeah. Now it will work. Yeah. So when I am giving my radius that is equal to 7, it gives the value of area. Again, I will write the radius 1, then it is 3.14. If I'll say 12, then it will give 452.159999 whatever. So this is how you can find the area of a circle given its radius. Now there is some coding challenges. We have written the even or odd checker earlier. We have also written the code for factorial function and prime number tester as well. The last question that I think that I should do here is to find the greatest of three. That means we have to take three arguments and we have to return the maximum value between these three. So let us write the function. So yeah, this is the function for finding the greatest number out of A, B, and C. I am using conditionals here. I am first checking for this condition where A is greater than B and A is greater than C. And if this condition is true, then we can return A. The second condition which I am checking is for B. If B is greater than A and B is greater than C. If this is true, then we will print B. And if both of these conditions is false, that means C is the greatest number. So we will be printing C. So now let us try to run this code. Okay. 12, 5, 80. Okay. Okay. Now it is running and it is giving me 80 as an answer. Okay, what if I change a few of the values? I will make this 500. Now it will return 500. And if I will change this here, then it is returning 12,000. So this is how you can write a function to find greatest of the three number. Then there are some homework problems. The first one is to find student result. We have to accept marks in three subjects and we have to return the average and the grade of the student. Then we have to find the bill amount based on the unit slab rates. And then there is this BMI calculator where we can take height and weight of user as input and then we can calculate the body mass index. And the last one is the temp converter where we change the Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit. And if we have Fahrenheit, then it will change it to Celsius. So these are some of the homework problems that you can do to practice functions. So this is it for this lecture. In this lecture, we learned how we can define function, how we can call the function. We learned about parameters and arguments and the difference between them. Then we learned about return statement and how it is different from print function. Then we learned about the scope of variable and then we learned about the modularity. So this is where we are going to finish the lecture. In the next video, we are going to cover the second part of function. So yeah, this is it for this video. Thank you for watching. We will be learning hence in the next video. Bye bye.